Welcome to From the Mind of Christine McConnell. In today's episode, we are finally tackling something really easy for once, and that is going to be a glittering spiderweb ornament for your Christmas tree. This is a project that you can honestly tackle in an afternoon and makes an amazing gift for anybody that you want to make feel uneasy. So with that said, let's begin. I'm going to begin by drawing out a template on a piece of paper that I've taped down in place. My spiderweb is going to have a total of 10 arms, so I need to draw 5 lines, and the total length is about 8 inches. With my foundation laid, now I can go around and start drawing my spiderweb. To spare myself a bunch of frustration, I am putting double-sided tape down on all of those foundation lines, and this way, when I press down my wire, it's just going to hold while I do all of my other work. Now I'm going to lay out 5 strands of a brass wire, and I'm going to spend a decent little portion of time straightening these out so that they align with those lines that I drew. Once I was happy with their shape, I began pressing them into place. Oh, let's talk about wire. I'm going to be using a 28 gauge brass wire for my spiderweb. This is something you can pick up at most hobby stores or even like a Lowe's. And while you're at Lowe's, if you don't have a soldering station, you can also pick one of those up. I think they're about $100, but honestly, if you get going with them, it's a tool you will use a ton of. So it's definitely worth the investment, I think. To make sure that these really hold in place and don't kind of run away from me, I'm going to Scotch tape them down. And now I can begin soldering these things together. So the way soldering works is you hold a strand of what's called soldering tin against this hot apparatus, and it will melt that down and fuse it to the metal that you're trying to apply it to, assuming that you've heated the metal already with that tip of the soldering tool as well. If you don't heat the metal first with your soldering tip, it won't really fuse to the soldering tin, and you'll know that this has happened because you'll end up with what's called a cold joint, and that is when you just basically melt the soldering tin directly onto the metal. And the way you can tell that this has happened is it will look matte and not shiny, and so if you end up with a really reflective, shiny, metallic looking bead, then you'll know that the soldering has fused to the metal. I'm starting from the outside of the web and coming in, and that way it gives me a little bit of time to practice on some of these bigger pieces and bending before things get really tight and a little bit trickier towards the center. Right here, you can see me heating up the metal first, and once I feel like it's done its job, then I start pressing the soldering tin in, and then when I pull away, it should have a nice shiny coat. 2 safety tips I can share with you when working with soldering. The first is the tip of this tool gets blindingly hot. So you kind of want to pretend like it is the head of a rattlesnake and keep that in mind anytime you're holding or handling the tool. The second one is it's a really good idea to have a fan set up right at your station to pull the fumes away from your face, and you generally want to do this also in a pretty well ventilated area. If you find you're having a hard time getting one specific bond to work, there is a product called Flux that essentially just basically cleans the metal and makes it primed for bonding. And so just a few drops of this, and then you can just honestly go in and work over a joint that you've already soldered, and it will still function so long as you heat everything up with your tool. While I was soldering, my hands were busy, obviously holding the soldering tool and the tinning solder. And so I needed to hold my wires down. And the way that I did this was I just took some pliers and pinned everything down and kept it kind of weighted. And this made the process go really nice and smooth. So I've actually done this project once before. I did it in 2019 just as a private fun project for myself. And so I wasn't filming anything, but I did use hot glue to do it. And the pieces that I made using that haven't really held up amazingly well over time. And that's what sort of caused me to seek out an alternative method. And honestly, this seems like it's just going to be wonderful. And the finished project is much tidier looking than what I did before. When I started, I was just curling one piece at a time and soldering that joint, but the closer I got to the center, because they were so tight together, I just started curling probably 3 or 4 in a row and then holding it down and doing the soldering points, and it went pretty quickly. When I was all done, I released all of those little tabs of tape that I did on the tips, and then I used a really fine point spatula to sort of pry this off the template. I really didn't want to bend the wires too much. They are pretty flexible. So I was just very careful and I took my time, and eventually it did come free from the paper. After getting it free, I snipped the frame to lengths that I was happy with, and then from there, I took a set of pliers and I just twisted those ends so that they just looked a little bit prettier. How pretty is it looking even at this stage? You truly could just leave it here and it would be beautiful. But for mine, I want to glam it up just a little bit using some glitter and then adding a few Swarovski crystals. If the weather was warmer, I would have gone outside and sprayed this with like a spray adhesive, but because I'm indoors and I don't really want to breathe anything like that in, what I'm going to do now is just lightly brush on some Mod Podge, and the first coat's going to look a little bit rough, but then I'm going to kind of go over it again, make sure I don't have any drops on the wires, and then I will lay it down and start sprinkling my glitter on top of it and see how this works. Oh, and by the way, there is no age limit to having fun with glitter. Whether you are 9 or 97, it is always going to be fun to play with, and I have never lost my wonder while I sprinkle it on over the glue. It will always just be incredibly mesmerizing. If I spotted any areas where I could still see bare wire, I just went in with a finer brush, painted in the Mod Podge, and again, did another coat of the glitter. To fill in any of the gaps, I'm going to lightly spray this with hairspray and then sprinkle a much more finely milled glitter over this, and that should sort of correct any areas where you might still see some of the metal. Hairspray dries really quickly, so I was careful to just work in small sections at a time, doing a few spritz, sprinkling some of the glitter, and then moving on to the next area. Okay, that really did the trick, and it is looking amazing now. To seal it all in, I moved to a far corner of the attic and sprayed a gloss enamel over the entire thing. We are nearly done, but what is a web without a spider? So now we are going to create one using some of the same wire that we used to make our web, as well as a few beads that I had left over from a past project. Okay, so this is a really fun way to make your own little metal spider at home. So what I did was I trimmed 5 lengths of that same brass wire that I started with, and this is so that I end up with 8 legs and 2 pedipalps for the front. and then taped them down as close together as I possibly could, and then soldered them right in the center point on the top. And then when I was done and happy with that, I flipped it over and soldered the opposite side as well. While you're soldering the opposite side, it might very quickly collapse because obviously the bond has melted, but this just adds a little bit more and it will reset and all be very solid again. To create the abdomen, I'm starting with a length of wire that's probably about, 8 inches long. And I'm working a very tiny, itty little bitty bead onto there and then splitting the wire, just folding it in half, keeping that bead at the top. Now I'm going to pierce through a little end cap for a bead. And then from there, I'm going to work on a clear iridescent bead. Once you've done that, you can spread those wires apart, making sure that it's nice and taut and the bead is not going to be moving around at all. And then you can start twisting this wire all around those legs that we made. Make sure not to trim away the excess bead wire because this is what we're going to use to actually ultimately affix it to our web. So you just make a few twists, try not to bulk it up too much, and then we can solder this all together. You might have to fiddle with it a little bit because you do want this part to look pretty, so you might have to melt it down and redo it a couple times until you get something you like. Once that's cooled down, now we are to the really fun part. So the very first step I'm going to do is to straighten out the legs because we are going to be sliding a few bugle beads onto the base of these legs. Once I had the bugle beads on, then I took out my solder kit again, and I just did a little tiny bit right at the base so that these don't move around at all. Spider legs are often thickest the closest they are to the cephalothorax, which is right there at the center. And so I'm using some longer bugle beads that are a little bit big right here at the base, and then I'm going to use some smaller bugle beads once I start bending the joints and working down closer to the feet. So technically, spider legs actually have a total of 8 segments to their legs, but to create a convincing looking spider, we're only going to be doing 4, and that is going to include the femur, the tibia, the metatarsus, and the tarsus. And so it's going to be a total of 3 bends altogether. So the thickest part is going to be our femur. The second part with the 2 smaller bugle beads is going to be the tibia, and then I'm going to leave the metatarsus and the tarsus bare. Once I had trimmed all the legs down to the lengths that I was happy with, then I went in and trimmed down those pedipalps. And now it's just a matter of bending all of these little digits into organic looking shapes. To affix it to the web, all you need to do is place it where you want it, and then those wires that we used to go through that bead, now you can twist over until they hold tight. Once you've done that, then you can just trim away the excess. The spider turned out so great. He's nice and spooky looking, which I love. And now the very last step is to add a few Swarovski crystals that will hopefully really make this pop. To do this, I have a very, very fine point set of tweezers, and I'm picking up one crystal at a time, dipping it in a little puddle of glue that I have, and then placing it wherever I want it to go. I used a Gorilla Glue, but truthfully, you could use pretty much any kind of glue that you have on hand. I think even a gel super glue would be great because it would seal very quickly. We are all done, and how elegant and pretty is this? I really, really love making things yourself at home just because I just feel like it's something more special. It's not anything you can go out and buy. And in addition to that, the pattern is undamaged, so technically you could just sit down and spend a whole afternoon churning out a bunch of these if you wanted to. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of simpler format. Please let me know, and in the future I'll try to work that in if you do. And until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon.